And here we are. Good morning. Wait, I will. Okay, this was just to check if the video was working. Good morning. Let me put chat in here. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Perfect. So, if you are ready, we can start immediately. I'm good, thank you. I hope you are good too. Safe, kind of. It's a complex situation, but it looks like it is going well. So it is fine. Thank you for asking. Hello, everyone. So, without waiting any further, what I would like to know, first of all, if you have any question that you would like to answer, and that I would like me to answer, of course, let me know. And because then we will start today about discovering materials in 3ds Max. So first of all, let me know if you have any additional question, doubt, things that you would like to see, and so on and so on. Let me know in the comment. No, in the comment here, in the chat. Can you please quickly show the elephant chair? No, this is not quickly show you. Is not quickly at all. The elephant chair dimensions of equipment. So let's try to see the elephant chair first. The elephant chair technique is not quickly simply because I should open the picture, see how the elephant is made, and so on and so on. But technically, the elephant chair was nothing else. Let's see. I remember the body of the elephant chair, but basically it was something to be made just like this. Remember, first of all, it is symmetrical, so you could make just half of it. And, for example, you could fillet this vertex here. I'm just trying to quickly remember, but just to show you the method that must be used. Outline, something like this. Look, then you extrude, and extrude is like that. Perfect. And I just rotate it to make it horizontal. Then, if I remember, the side of the elephant had a shape like this. Look, I just press Alt W to open another viewport, and I draw, I think it was made like this. Here there is the tail. Here there is another part. Okay. Then you extrude. No, it is a little bit rounded. So I fillet all these corners. And I extrude this part as well. If you remember, we have made something called ProBoolean. So what I will do is I will combine these two shapes. With ProBoolean, we have seen that we can make subtraction, union, and intersection. I will do intersection, compound, ProBoolean, intersection, star picking, and I will pick these, and what remains will be whatever is in common in between these two shapes, and voila, poof! You have this first part of the elephant. The elephant has a tail in here, and here there is another extruded part that is basically the neck, if I remember. So once that you have made this step, you apply edit poly and you add those extra pieces. Alt W to make this viewport bigger. I want also to see where my edges are, so I click edged faces, and here, after apply edit poly, I right click cut from here to here, so that I can select this polygon, and I will use extrude. Fantastic. I think it was more or less like this. Here, same thing. First, I cut the part that has to be the tail, and then I select the polygon, I click extrude, and I start extrude, I said, here, and I start modeling this additional part. The head of the elephant is basically the same, just by making these extrusion. First, you draw the profile of the head, and then with intersection you make the half. Okay? Believe it or not, this was the process just by using the picture as a reference, but the process to make the elephant chair. Okay? Dimensions of the furniture, and also the height from which to place windows, doors, etc., etc. So dimensions of the furniture is something, I know that it's simple now. It is simple. It was really simple. It was looking complex, but no, all my midterm exams were very, very basic. Also, they were symmetrical, so you could make just half and make mirror. Anyway, so Scarlett asks, dimensions of furniture. Dimensions of furniture is something that doesn't depend on 3ds Max, but dimensions of furniture is something that you can find, let's see, in a particular book that is called Neufert. That is an architectural book that I probably have. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. Just need to find this one. Look, let's see if I can browse the PDF, because it's a pretty big one. Okay. Ah, it's too big. Okay, so what I will do is this. Look, get shareable link. Okay. So what I will do is I will add this. Is this the chat? No, it's this one. No, oh, sorry. I've closed the chat. Let me open it again. Sorry, my bad. Okay, this one. So I will put this link into the chat so that you can download that particular PDF file that contains all dimensions for furniture, spaces, how big rooms should be, how the distance between furniture and the door and the wall, and stuff like that. And it is not only useful for 3ds Max, but this kind of book is useful in general to design spaces. Okay? But once that you know those dimensions, how to deal with them in 3ds Max, this is something that you have to do by using a couple of simple tools. There are these. Look. Thing number one. Let's say I need to make a wardrobe that is 60 by 60 by 180 centimeters. So first of all, please check customize, units setup, and be sure that you are using units, and I'm using centimeters. This is first. So first thing first is I create my things, and I go to the modify tab, and I can type dimensions in here. So let's say I will write like 60 by 60 by 180, and this is first thing. But now let's see this problem here. Look, let's say I have a wall, or I have just another obstacle here, and I want to know which is the distance between my furniture and the wall, and the door, whatever else is this. So, interesting tool number one to be known is this. Look, in 3ds Max, if you go to create, and then you go to this tab here, and that is called helpers, you can see that this tab has the symbol of a ruler, this one. Okay? So, if you click there, you can find a simple tool that is called tape. Tape allows you to calculate distances and to measure distances in 3ds Max. So, if I want to know the distance in between these two objects, like AutoCAD, I will use snap to the vertex, and I will make a tape from here to here. And in this particular dialog box, I will read the distance, that is the length, and I will also discover other dimensions like the difference in x, y, and z. Okay, so let's say I want to use midpoint. I make a taper from here to there, and I can read that the distance is 25.4 centimeters. And I can now move my objects, and if I want, I can take again my taper, snap it, and if I select the taper, I will know my new distance. Okay? Till here, let me know if it works. Give me feedback. Just type something to tell me that to show me that you are there. Till here, clear, perfect. Because we need to see a few more precise things. But we haven't finished it yet, because now the thing is, let's say we measure that the distance is right now 58.8 centimeters. And at the end, and look, this is going to be something fantastic. These are very tiny little secrets in 3ds Max. So right now, this is 58.8 centimeters. But we know that the distance in between these objects should be, let's say, should become 85. Okay, more or less 85. So what we can do is we can use a more precise, interesting thing now. That is, now we have to move our object, but we can't just guess each time how much we have to move it and then place it and check the tape and so on and so on. So look, what I can do is, if I want to move it so that the distance would be 85, technically I have to move this box. We said this was 58. It has to become 85. So the distance should be, if I'm not wrong, should be, we must move this object 27 centimeters on the right. Is it true? So check this, because this will change your life forever. I can click move, and check this. When I move an object, I can read down here the amount of movements. Look. And I can move it like 27, more or less, centimeters. But if I want, instead of just reading these values here, if I click this symbol before, and then I can not only read, but I can also type the amount of movement that I want for my object. So if I type 27 and I press enter, my box will be moved exactly 27 centimeters along the direction of the X. If I wanted to move it on the opposite direction of the arrow, I just need to write minus. So let's say minus 35. Okay? So, let's see if I want to make a window in this way. Look. If I have a wall, and in this wall, look, I will make a sketch first so that we understand what we are going to do. I need to cut a window, and this window must be like 120 centimeters large, 180 centimeters tall, but it has to be 100 centimeters from the ground. Okay? Ready for this? Look. I will make a box. I will make, let me check also if everything works. Yes. I will make a box first that measures, we said this must be 120, this must be 180. This doesn't matter, it has to be just larger than the wall. So what I will do next is this. Oh, I forgot also, we can be even more precise, because maybe we also want a very precise distance from the wall, let's say 70 centimeters. So look what I will do. I first move my box so that it snaps the corner of my wall. Then, by using these three numeric fields, look, I want to move it, so I click move, and I want to move it 70 centimeters on the opposite direction of the y-axis, so I will be sure that this has been clicked and it is blue. So I type minus 70, and my box is moved exactly 70 centimeters on the opposite direction of the arrow, and I want to move it 100 centimeters above because it has to go up, so I type 100 into the Z field, and in this way now if I will use ProBoolean, look, I will select the wall, I use compound, ProBoolean, subtraction, start picking, and I will pick this. And in this way I will know that this window, believe it or not, is exactly 120 centimeters large, 180 centimeters tall. It is exactly 100 centimeters from the ground, and it is exactly 70 centimeters from that corner. Okay? Is that clear? Let me see. This is good stuff, isn't it? Perfect. Very nice. So if great, oh look what I mean, I can see happiness in the chat. So we can now move on the today's topic, that is using materials. And today we will see first half of using materials, and because materials are very complex in 3ds Max, and we will divide these in this week and next week. Today we will see how to find materials, how to set 3ds Max to properly work with materials, and how to apply materials to our object, and how to manage the way that materials are applied. And at the end I will give you a very small, simple homework that would be, I mean, just great, unbelievable, I would say. So let's see first of all. Thing to know number one: materials are the way that 3ds Max uses in order to define the aspect of an object. If an object has a color, or if it has a texture, or if an object is polished or matte or transparent, and so on and so on. So all these aspects are all together grouped together in something called materials. Materials in 3ds Max are highly depending on the render engine that you are using. Some of you may have heard something called V-Ray or other things related to render, and those kind of elements are render engines. And each render engine has its own material library. The one that I want to show you today is the one that is coming with 3ds Max. So first step that you have to do in order to work with 3ds Max with materials is this. You must go to the menu that is called rendering. Then sorry, you need to go to the option called render setup, and you click here. And when you click here, there is one simple thing that you have to check or change if it doesn't look like mine. That is this option must be production rendering mode, and this option must be ART renderer. If you see something different than mine, what you have to do is click each drop down menu, and to be sure that everything works for rendering and for materials, be sure to click production rendering mode here and art renderer here. These two options must be set exactly like this, and if they are not, set them. Okay? This is first step that you have to do. If you don't do this, believe it or not, materials won't work. So this is step one. Step two is materials must be applied to some objects, and especially now it is extremely important that you use objects with realistic dimensions, and it is extremely important that you use units. If you don't follow these additional steps, materials will look wrong. So, I know that I'm using centimeters. I can read next to all my values that I'm using centimeters. So what I will do is I will just create a few objects. So this would be like 400 centimeters. This will be like a size of a room, because this for me will be the floor for the room. Then I will make like a wall. Then I will make another box. Whatever object you want. A sphere. Doesn't matter which objects I'm creating. I'm just making a neutral scene. But this is how my objects look like without any material. So what I have to do now is I need to make my objects more alive, and I will start discovering where materials are. And what you have to do is you have to do this. Look. You need to go to the menu that is called rendering, and in this menu you will find something called material editor. When you go here, you can see that there are two material editors, and you need to choose the one that is called Slate material editor. So this one here. This is extremely important, because in this way we have a lot more unlocked features. So I click Slate Material Editor, and when I click here, this is what I will see. I will just move it in the center of the screen and resize it. If you have correctly selected your render engine, you should see exactly something like this. Is it true? Let me know if you can find this before I move on. Let me know. So can you find the Slate material editor? Yes. Perfect. Because if you can find it, we need simply to understand what it is, how it works. That is not that complex. It is just a little bit confusing, maybe first times that you see it, but not that complex. So what we have is this. Look. We have in here something that is a toolbar. And from this toolbar, believe it or not, we will use technically two buttons only. One will be this, but I will show you later what it does. And one is this. This is something that we will use a lot. That is to enable the preview of our material into the viewport. This is something that we will see when our projects will be a little bit more complex. All these other buttons, believe it or not, you can forgive them. Then what we have here. Here we have our material map browser. So in here there is a list of all materials that are available, and they are basically divided in three main groups. There are these. Look, these are neutral materials that will be useful when we will start making our own materials from scratch. So for now, for today, we won't use them. If we scroll down, we find a menu that is called Maps. Again, skip it because today we won't use them. But if you have correctly set your render engine, you will find something called Autodesk Material Library. Oops. And I wanted to highlight it like this. The Autodesk Material Library is where we find a lot of preset materials. And I will show you in a second how to use them. Third part in here, this is called the view. That is where we will place all materials that we want to use in our project. And if we want to tweak them, in here we have parameters of our selected materials. So let's see which are simple steps to follow in order to correctly applying materials to objects into 3ds Max. See this, because this would be fantastic. What you have to do is, first, from the library, you need to choose which material you want to use. So let's say I will start by using two materials. I want a material for the floor and a material for the wall. So I go to flooring and I will use, I don't know, red oak honey, let's say. And if I want to use it in my project, instead of using it always from this library, I will start by just making drag and drop of this material from the library to my view. And I place it here. So it becomes bigger, becomes easier to be found, and so on and so on. Then I want to use another material. I want bricks for my wall. So I continue in my library. Bricks are inside masonry, brick, and I will use common bricks. And I will drag and drop it here. And if you want, you can just left click and drag this piece so that they won't overlap. Okay? So till here I am telling 3ds Max which materials I would like to apply inside my project. But I need to do something more. That is, now what I have to do is I need to tell that this object, look, let me resize this. So I want this object that is the wall having bricks, and this object that is the floor, I want to use this flooring. The way that you have to use in order to apply this material is very simple, and it is again by drag and drop. But this time you need to click in this little area where you see this dot on the right of your material, and you have to left click and drag. From here you make this wire and you move your mouse till you go above your object, and then you can release your left button. Poof. And it is weird because right now it is not looking like floor, but it's just looking gray. But don't worry, we will fix this in a second. But just to repeat how to apply the object, that is very simple. You select this dot into the material. You left click and you hold your left button and you move your mouse till you go to the scene over your object, and only then, poof, you release your left button. Okay? Till here? Let me know if you can do this for now. That is, click the dot, left click and drag and release it over your object. Perfect! But now let's make the magic happen. So, what we need to do now is, we can see that bricks are not looking like bricks, and the floor is not looking like floor into the viewport. They are just looking like these horrible colors. This is first time that we will use this tool on our material editor main toolbar, that is the preview. So I select the material, I click this tiny circle, is the smaller one, take care, but I select the material with one left click. Then I click this button and see what happens to my viewport. Poof! And I have enabled the preview of this material into my viewport. I will repeat again this step, but this time I will select the floor. So I can select the floor material. I click the preview button into the main toolbar of my Slate material editor. Poof! And now I can see my honey wood floor material. Okay? Does it work? Because from now, things are becoming more and more interesting. Scarlett says, sorry, I can't find my render material editor. Just go here. Rendering material editor and use Slate material editor. I did. Ah, great. Also, something that is very common is that you select Slate material editor once in your life, and starting from now, if you just press M keyboard, M like material, M is to hide or show material editor. Okay? So M, once that you have selected once in your life the Slate material, from now, if you just press M, you will show or hide material editor anytime that you need. Okay? So, let me see. Second one didn't work. There are, first of all, what is second one? Are you using same materials that I'm using, or you are just using random materials on your choice? And I know that the answer will be no, I was just randomly selecting something. Let's see if it is true. So, in any case, while we wait, wall material, yes, but were you using my same bricks that I have selected or not? Perfect. So, question number 2, were you using on a box or not? Or into something else? Let's see. And while you check, last thing to check is select your wall, go to the Modify tab and see if your dimensions are compatible with the size of a wall. So answer to all these questions. Was it a box, and was the box big enough? Let's see, we are all waiting this answer from your classmate. We are waiting. Live stream is going. No answers. Anyway, let's continue in the meantime that we wait for your classmate to answer. And can you please explain it again? No, it isn't. Okay. One question. If we want... Okay. One question. If we want to change the material, then I choose. How can we do that? Not today. Okay, so first of all, let's make it again. So look. Let's say I want to make this box here in another material. Let's use concrete. So look. This is how materials should be correctly applied. I go to the concrete folder. Let's say I like this one, concrete blocks. So what I have to do is I left click and drag concrete blocks on my view of the material editor. Then I have to select the material, and with my material selected I will click show the material into viewport. Okay, so I click it and I do this, and I then, or before or after, I drag from this. So I left click here and I drag this till I go over my box. Then I release my left button and boom! And I will see this material applied on my object. This is to answer question that... too many questions. Okay, so Nicole Watson, can you please explain again? Yes, this is the thing. Perfect. So let's see other question. We'll make it again, but yes, can we import material library of our choice in 3ds Max? This is a tough question. Technically, yes. The only problem is that material libraries are pretty hard to find. In general, you should buy them. It is pretty uncommon to find entire material libraries for free. You can, but not today, next week, we will see how to make our own custom materials and then make your own material library. But technically, yes, technically there are several websites where you can buy material libraries and then you can import them into 3ds Max. But you have to, but you need to have them before. And then importing is very simple. You grab the library and you drag and drop it here. Unfortunately, I have not, so I can show you right now. I will see if for next week I can find just an example. Then yes, we can edit existing materials just by not only left clicking on the material that we want to edit, but if we select a material and we double click it, look, see the difference. When a material is simply selected, you can see a white boundary next to it. But if I select a material with one left click and then I double click it, the material has a dashed boundary, and in the parameter area we will find all parameters to edit this material. So for example, we can change the concrete, we can make a color instead of the texture, or use the texture, or we can use not to weather, so it will be more smooth. We can round corners, but we won't go today into material parameters. But for sure, yes, we can make materials as we want. We have 100% of freedom in adjusting materials. But before going into material parameters, believe it or not, there are two other important things that we need to know. There are refer us to website for material library. No, there is Google. You can Google 3ds Max material library, because this is how I will do it. I mean, this is something that, because they are also all paying options, I do not recommend any of those, and I also don't trust any torrent or pirate ways to have them. No, don't use those. And there is, look, at least one that I know. It is just super hard to write it. That, if I remember, is called Seeger Shader. And you can see that a lot of people look for Seeger Shaders crack. But this website here, Seeger Studio. Seeger Studio is a website that offers extremely well-made materials, extremely good. They are, I mean, very good. You can at least try. I've never tried. Let's see, this is a real-time thing. If I make I have never tried. See if you can make a student license. Okay. Educational license. But then it says professional. 65 euros. I mean, it's not that cheap, not that expensive. But this is the only website that I trust. Okay, Seeger Studio. Other websites, no, they are not that good. and this is to answer your classmate. But let's see these two more important things to know before exploring how to customize materials, how to make very complex things with materials. Look, there are a lot easier things that we need to study. There are. First of all, materials are also managed by instances or by copies. What it means? It means that if I make an object, and it doesn't matter if I apply the material before or after, but if I make instances of an object, okay, and again, it doesn't matter if it has material before or after making the instance. If I apply one material to one of my instance, all of them will automatically get same exact material. Okay? So not only instance manages parameters, but instance manages also materials. So this is one additional reason why you need sometimes to choose between instance or copy when you make your duplicates. And this is first. Second thing is that we can also apply same material to more than one object, and instead of just repeating, look, I want to apply same wood to the wall, same wood to the box, same wood to the sphere. If I just repeat drag and drop, of course this will work. But if we have thousands of different objects, and for all those objects we want to apply same material, what we can do is we can select first all those objects where we want, even if they are different, where we want same material applied. So we select first, and then we drag and drop our material to whatever of those selected objects. We click OK, and even if they were not instances, even if they were completely different objects, in a very simple way, we can apply same material to more than one object. Okay? Till here? Let me check. Because materials must be clear from the beginning, because the more I explain, the more tricky they become. But till here? Because I need to explain one last basic thing, and thank you so much. Perfect. And now I need to show you something that it is just insane. Look. Material is not only related to the object, to this. I'm not able to preview brick. Same question. Are you using same bricks that I'm using or not? Or something else? And if yes, are you using it on a box or to something else? And this is to answer the question that Stuti asked. And we are all waiting for her to answer. So, are you using... Yes, but I asked, is it same material, the one that is called common bricks, or something that is totally different? Let's see. Let's see the answer. We are creating the suspense here. Okay. No answers. So, bricks. You have to know this. First of all, there are some of these materials, some materials here and there that sometimes are not working. I mean, and here there is nothing to do. Also, what I'm doing is I'm using common bricks. So I'm using masonry. I'm using the folder that is called brick, not bricks. I'm using brick folder, and I'm using common brick material. This works. If you select bricks and maybe another thing, you can see directly from the material editor, look, that the preview is gray. So what it means is that this material with our settings simply won't work, and there is nothing that we can do here because this material is meant in order to do something completely different. So this material that I'm not using, it won't work. So I just select it and I click delete. Oops, and I have to delete also these maps. Perfect. So I'm using masonry, brick, and then something from here. Okay? So, let's see this interesting thing now. That is, see what happens if I... No problems. So, see what happens now. I know that a brick in reality should be something that is like 25 centimeters large. So let me check something. If I make a box and I scale it, and I make the box like 25 by 12 by 6, I discover that in real life this is how a brick should look like. And I can see that my material instead is very, very tiny. Okay? But if I select, this is my wall, and these are dimensions that I want to keep for my wall. So what I have to do is I need to find a way to make my material looking bigger, while I don't need to change the size of my box. And this is one of the most amazing things that you can do with your 3ds Max once that you go into the material part, there is this. If you select the object where you have already applied a material, what you can do is you can use a modifier, and I will just write it. You can use a modifier that is called UVW map in order to change the aspect of your material without changing the shape of your object. Look, because this will be great. So I select my object that has material. I go to the Modify tab and I apply this modifier. Look, it is basically at the end of the list, and it is called UVW map. I don't know if I have to move my head here, probably, to let you see. When you apply UVW map at the very beginning, don't freak out. It looks like you have destroyed your material, that you are making something really bad, while it is not. And UVW map works in a very simple way. That is, you need to apply this modifier first. Then you need to check box as a parameter into the area that is called mapping. Okay? And in this way we are back to our original aspect of our material. But ready for this? Because this is one of the coolest things you can do with UVW map. What you have to do then is, next to UVW map, can you see this tiny triangle here? What you have to do is you click the triangle next to UVW map, you open Gizmo, okay? And now see the magic, because if you are here, now if you use move, rotate or scale, what you will move, rotate or scale will be the material and not the object. So you can move the material along the surface of my object. You can rotate the material, as well as, and zoom in, you can scale the material to give a more realistic look to the material itself. If I now check my reference by using a very precise tool that are my eyes, I can see that now my texture has a more realistic dimension if this would be a realistic wall. Okay? And I can also select the gizmo. If I want to move my bricks so that I avoid having these kind of seam lines very close to the corner, I can make these, I can make that. And in this way, not only I'm using bricks as material, but I'm also applying brick material in a more realistic way. Okay? I will repeat another time. Just let me know if you can find and use UVW map, just to have a feedback. Cool. I know that it is cool. And materials are extremely interesting because they will start making your 3ds Max things becoming more realistic. So can we use the dimensions under the selection of you select the answer is yes, but it is over complicated to both of your questions. We will do to both your questions, so for Boyega and Yamini questions, you have to wait next week class to see how to do this. Because it is possible, but it involves billions of additional steps that will make this lesson becoming too confusing. Okay? So be so nice to remember these exact questions next Monday. Do them again so that I will show you exactly how to do it. Because technically it is possible both for your questions, but not today for sure, because you can see that these options are grayed. So there are so many things to be done in order to scale them correctly and knowing, etc., etc. But not today, not today. If not, it will be too much. But what I want to show you to complete these first information in how to apply materials is, first, you need to know that in your object you can have more than one material, and as well that more than one material you can have more than one UVW map. So let's see this, what it means. Imagine this. Look. Are you going to explain how to make a render image? Of course, yes, Scarlett, of course. If not, while we are studying 3ds Max. Scaling options turns gray after clicking Gizmo. Oh my gosh, but you are so unlucky. While, I mean, look, if I have a box and I apply my material, I apply UVW map and I click box and then I click Gizmo. Now tell me, I can see move, rotate and scale. Okay? So, first of all, let me know, because Stuti says that scaling options turns gray. Let me know, are you using 3ds Max 2019 or not? I'm curious. Let's see what Stuti will say. Let's see. Let's see. It worked after a while. So it works or not now? Because I mean, probably was just frozen for a second. So it works or not? Okay, perfect. So, see this. First of all, I want to show you this that is unbelievable. If you have this kind of box, that is a wall, no? Maybe in a house, this wall can be a wall that is exterior wall on this face, but maybe will be interior wall on this other face. And maybe we need to have the aspect of this box changed in one of its faces. If we want to do this, unfortunately, there are two main ways to do it. One is extremely complex, one is extremely simple, and I will show you the easier one. That is this. What we have to do is, no matter which object we are dealing with, we have to right-click on our object first. Then we need to use the option called Convert to, and we will use the option called Convert to Editable Poly. I know that you are about to say, will it be the same if we use Edit Poly modifier? And guess what? The answer is no. So if not, I won't explain it like this. So you must really convert your object to Editable Poly. But then, see what you can do. You can select polygons, so one, more than one, and what you can do is you can drag and drop your materials only in your selected polygons, and let's say I select another one and I drag and drop these. By making this forced step, so take the object, convert to Editable Poly. If I select polygons instead of the entire object, I can have one object with multiple materials. Okay? And I will show you another example. Look. And this would be, I mean, fantastic. See this. Let's say 300, 300, 300, because I want to make a cube. Then, because I'm lazy, I will add 3 segments each axis, and then I will right-click, convert to Editable Poly. Okay? Ready for this? Look. I don't want to use any of these materials, so from the view I will simply select all materials and everything else that I see, and I press delete. Deleting materials from the view won't delete them from the library. It just delete them from that area that I used to drag and drop. Okay? But look which materials I will use. I just want to select 7 different colors. An easier way that I have to do this would be, I will just go to plastic and I will select 7 different plastic color. So starting from, let's say, smooth black, then I will use smooth red, smooth white, smooth yellow, there should be smooth navy, that is like blue, I forgot, smooth, what is orange, light orange, and green, this one, smooth dark green. Okay, ready for this? Because this would be phenomenal. You must, I mean, so be sure that you are comfortably seated. What I will do will be, first I will apply black plastic to all my box, and I get this. Then, do you remember we have studied a tool into the Edit Poly that is called Inset to make offset of polygons? Look, I click my polygons, I select all my polygons, and I click Settings next to Inset, and I inset by polygon, and I do this. Okay, ready for this? Look, I select 9 of my inset polygon for each face, and I apply red plastic here, select these 9 polygons, and let's say I apply yellow, I select these and I apply the blue, and so on and so on. But basically, if you have seen, I am making a Rubik cube. Just exactly remove edged faces from one single box. A single box that has different polygons, and each polygon has its own beautiful material. Okay? And you will notice in a second why this example is extremely important. So till here, is it clear what I've done or not? Let me see feedback into the chat. Let me see if you have questions. Perfect! I'm so happy. This is extremely important simply because your next homework will be very free, I will say, and I have these very complex instructions written. Then I will also upload a copy on the server, but your next homework will be this. Your next homework will be to design a furniture of your choice. A chair, a table, a bedside table, a bookshelf, I don't know what else. That has to be inspired by the Rubik cube. I hope the Rubik is written like this. I think so. Okay, So you are 100% free to design the furniture element that you want. A stool, a chair, a furniture with closets, with drawers, I mean, whatever. But it needs to have this treatment into materials. Okay? If you also look on Google, I don't want to show you because it would be, I mean, you have to use your own sketches, your own concept, you have to make it by yourself, but it's not something new. There are many of examples of furnitures inspired by the Rubik Cube, okay? And this is going to be your next homework. There is also your first homework where you have to use materials. Okay? So then I will just save these so that I will use it as next homework instructions. And you will find a copy of this image into the server. But is it clear what to do as a next homework? Because if it is clear, I will explain last slightly complex thing for today, and next week we will go a lot more in depth into materials. Perfect! I'm so happy that everything is clear. But let's see this last slightly complex thing that you need to know about materials. That is, not only you can have multiple materials, but believe it or not, into the same exact object you can also have multiple UVW map modifiers. And why you should do this? Look, in order to make this example, now I will delete my lovely, I will say, Rubik Cube. I will also delete all these materials from the view, but you can see that they are still available into the library. And I will use a material that has a clearly visible texture. So I will use a flooring wood. Let's see which one. This one, red oak Java. Don't know, never used it. Okay. So wood is interesting because not only has a texture, but in reality wood must be applied in a realistic way. What it means? Look. If I make a box like this and I apply wood, I need to select the material, click the preview button, and then I apply it on my box. And I am extremely lucky because, like it happens in reality, my wood has wooden fibers. Look, there are aligned along a bigger dimension of my box. But let's make another box. Look, if I make this box, because now I want to make like table legs. So I make a box that is pretty narrow but super tall, and I apply same material. I will see something that is 100% wrong. That is, my material right now is it is wood, and this is clear, but in reality wooden fibers should be aligned along this direction. Okay? Because if not, the object looks a lot fake. So, in here, we know that we have to use UVW map to fix this problem. So I apply UVW map, I set box, unfortunately you have to do it each time, but then you open the gizmo and you rotate your material 90 degrees, like that. Perfect. Maybe I can scale it. Okay. And now I can see that wooden fibers are perfectly going vertical. So where is my issue? The issue is, look at this object that I'm making now. That is, I make a box and I apply edit poly. I don't need to convert it to editable poly because I want to use one material only. And I also use edged faces. No. So before edit poly, let's make less polygons, sorry. Okay, edit poly. So look what I will do now. I will select this edge and I will move it like this. Select this edge and I will move it like that. Then I select these two polygons and I will extrude both. Okay. And then, I will just quickly fix them. I will make them taller. I will then rotate this one and move it like this. And I will rotate this one. I will move it here. I have almost done. I will select both polygons and I will click bridge. Oh, why they are twisted? Sorry. Perfect. This is 0. Anyway, so look what I have. I have created simply a frame. That can be the frame for a window, can be a frame for a painting and whatsoever. And I want to make it with wood, but see this horrible thing that will happen. Ready, steady, go. Look at my material. I apply my wooden material and I will see that the wood is completely distorted. Look here. Here texture is fine. Here texture is stretched. Here texture is deformed. Here probably is the only place where the texture is fine. Everything else, texture is just looking weird. Okay? So what I have to do is this. I will apply UVW map and I make it as a box. And I will see that some areas of my frame are now fixed because this top and this lower part are perfectly working, but my vertical elements are wrong, because in those elements I can see that wood is going horizontal while it should be vertical. Okay? And if I use just one UVW map, if I rotate to fix vertical, I will ruin horizontal parts. So it looks like something that has no solution, while the solution is here. Look. What we have to do to have multiple UVW maps will be, after applying one UVW map, we apply edit poly again, and I select polygons where I want another UVW map, and with these polygons selected, I apply UVW map again. This additional UVW map that has also this symbol of polygons must be set as box, and I can change the gizmo, but look, this additional UVW map will affect only my previously selected polygons. Okay? And if I close the UVW map just to show you the result, look, this is what I have. I have one object that has two different UVW maps modifier applied according to its polygon subdivision. Okay? You want to see another example? Or it was clear enough? Let me see. Yes, for what? Was it clear, or want to see another example? Another one. Oh, look. Another one. Another one. Yes. Last example. Look. Look. I mean, and then this would be last thing. But look, this would be amazing. We apply edit poly. So I'm just making a box with edit poly, and in this box I will select this polygon and I will use inset like this. Let me scale it. Perfect. Okay, ready for this? Look, because this would be phenomenal. I will apply, this for me is a floor, so let's find a more realistic material. So I will go to ceramic tile. Where is terracotta? This one. Oops, terracotta. So I place it here. I click the preview button, and then I apply this material to my box. And you will see that because I've used the edit poly, the material is terrible. Look. It is stretched here, it is deformed here. I mean, it is just a mess. So what I will do is I will apply first UVW map, and I will set as a box to fix overall aspect of my material. If I want also to be very precise, look, I will select the gizmo and I will move my material so that these white parts of my texture will match edges of my edit poly. Then, see this, because this is going to be a masterpiece, I apply an additional edit poly that I will use only to select this center polygon. Okay? And in here, what I will do is, by keeping this polygon selected, I apply again UVW map. Again, I set it as a box. But what I will do in this second UVW map will be I select the gizmo and I will rotate these 45 degrees. Boom. And I will also move these UVW maps so that the corner of my tile here matches the corner of the polygon. Beautiful. See this masterpiece. I just close the UVW map and I deselect everything, and look what an astonishing floor you have created for the project. I just uncheck edged faces to remove those visible lines, and look what I have done. I have same material but with two different UVW maps. And then I won't show you because it would be just a repetition, but as well as this, you can have multiple materials, multiple UVW maps, and you can combine. So you can have bricks in here, concrete in there, with one UVW map here, one UVW map there, and you can combine more than one material and more than one UVW map on the same exact object. And believe it or not, while it looks like this is something that you will never do, this is not true. Imagine just this example, that is, imagine you have like an extruded floor plan wall, and no face extrude, sorry, extrude, where is here, okay, and this is a wall where this room will be the living room, this room will be the bathroom, and this will be like the bedroom. So in here you may need like a certain wallpaper material attached to one face. In here you just want a different paint. Into the bathroom, maybe you need to have like first 2 meters covered with tiles, and then last upper part with white paint. So you apply edit poly, you make, for example, this. That is, you click connect, and you make like even more. You can make all these additional segments, so that you can have then the possibility to apply a material in this and this polygon, a material in here, but maybe you want 2 rows of tiles where here they will be vertical, here there are 45 degrees angled, here there are vertical, and here you have another material. So according to your polygon subdivision, you can have multiple materials as well as multiple UVW maps. Okay? This is everything for today. In order to start dealing with material, next week we will see something a little bit more complex. That would be how to make our own custom materials. Plus, I will quickly show you where and how to manage downloaded 3D blocks. Okay? So if you have questions about this class, do them now, or if not, we will see next week. Perfect! Let's see someone else. Let's see if you have more, if you have some other doubt. Because if not, you have your magnificent homework. Also, of course, you can watch and re-watch these videos as many times that you want. On Wednesday, also, from 9 to 11 and 11 to 1, I have other 2 3ds Max classes that would be about same exact topic. So if you have nothing better to do on Wednesday from 9 to 1, I will stream again these similar topics. So if you have doubt and you have things to ask or want just to review it, feel free to do it. Okay? Perfect! No doubt. Fantastic. So bye everyone, it has been a pleasure, and we will see next week, Monday. Perfect! Thank you so much for being here, and see you next Monday. Ciao!